Hi everybody, Rick McEvoy here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Rick McEvoy Photography. This week on my photography blog, I have written a post titled, How do I hire a freelance photographer I can trust in the UK? Now this is not being published at the same week as the blog post was written because I've been in the middle of moving to my website from Squarespace to WordPress. You'll hear a lot more about that next week on my YouTube channel. If that's not of interest to you, just move on because there's a lot to say about this and it's been a bit of a mare. I thought I'd do something a bit different. Something that somebody asked me once was, how do I actually choose a photographer? And apart from saying, here I am, which I'm not, depending on what you want a photographer for, I thought actually this is going to be a useful and helpful post for people. So how do I hire a freelance photographer I can trust in the UK? I'm just going to spend 5 minutes and take you through the main points. Please read the blog post if you want to know any more detail. First off, who am I to tell you this stuff? Well, I'm Rick. I'm a photographer. I'm 52 years old. I've been in photography since the age of about 13, so that's quite a long time. I've been professional for a number of years. I'm an associate of the British Institute of Professional Photographers, so I'm professionally qualified. I'm also a chartered builder and I've got some other stuff as well, but hey, we're not interested in that here, are we? What is a freelance photographer? A freelance photographer is somebody who works on individual commissions for individual clients. He's a freelancer, independent. That's what I do. People get in touch with me, commission me to do a job, I do the job, give them the photos, they pay me, hopefully they'll use me again, and that's how we work. First question, should I use a local photographer? Now I'm going to say a big yes. Number of reasons. One, I feel it's important that we all support local suppliers in our local areas. I think it's good for us, it's good for our localities. It's also good for the environment, reducing travel. And in terms of getting a photographer, you will get a better job, in my opinion, from a local photographer. Now, this isn't a self-interest statement. I'm actually excluding myself from the vast majority of the country by saying this. So it's not for me, this is for your benefit. I can provide a much better service locally than I can a long way off. There's a little tale in there about the problems of agreeing to do something. Somebody wanted me to photograph sites across the country. I said yes, I gave them a price. They agreed the rates. I saw pound signs in my eyes and accepted every job going. First one being in North Wales. 6-hour drive. What if it rains? Contingency days. A contingency day would be 3 days. Day travel there, day travel back. That's 3 days when I can't work on something else. So that's the kind of problem. If it's a local job, I can adapt much better and it helps me and the client. There's a few things that have to be factored into the planning of a photography shoot. Timing, weather, contingency days. These are all things that you need to consider. Next main point, what kind of photographer should I choose? If you ask me to photograph your wedding and you offer me £20,000, I would say no, thank you. I am not a wedding photographer. I photograph buildings and buildings in nice places and also nice places. That's it. I don't do weddings, portraits, families, stuff like that. It's not what I do. So pick a photographer who does the things that you want them to do. Check out the website. In fact, I do go on to this in quite a lot of detail. So check out the blog post, other ways of finding out about a photographer. Do you need to use a professionally qualified photographer? Yes, you do. Would you get a house, if you were getting your house built, would you go to an architect who wasn't qualified and get him to design your building? Would you use an unqualified electrician to rewire your house? Would you use an unqualified gas engineer to service your gas installation or fix a gas leak in your house? No, photography is no different. Photography is a profession. Use a professional. I'm a professional. All the other professionals give you reassurance of standards of quality, service, reliability and reputation. So yes, in my opinion, you should use a professionally qualified photographer. More on that in the post. Should I pay more for a highly qualified photographer? Highly qualified or higher qualified? I do believe I wrote higher qualified, but we can take either. Yes, you pay more for a senior architect than you do for a junior architect. A consultant gets paid more than a junior doctor. Nothing wrong with it with photography either. I then go on about professional bodies for photography in the UK and a bit about qualifications. I won't go into that now. Why should I pay for a photographer? Can I not take the photos myself? Well, yes, you can. If you want to take the photos yourself and you're happy with them, problem solved. Crack on and do it. If you want better photos than that, though, you need to get somebody to do it. Again, analogy at home. If you wanted, I'm going to go off on some terrible tangent here. If you don't know how to plaster a wall and then you try and plaster a wall, you will get a better job if you pay a plasterer to it than if you do it. If you get a good professional photographer, you will get better photographs than those you create yourself. It's just how it is. How much will this cost? It depends. I charge on a half day or full day rate for 99% of my work. And it's a one-off charge, inclusions, exclusions, it's all in a quote. Get a quote, very important. How long does the process take? Depends. Who decides the brief? You tell me the brief. I will confirm back what I think it is that you need, which might be more than you've asked for, might be less, but we agree it first in writing. How long does it take to get the images? Depends on so many things. Who edits the images that I take? I do. Nobody else, just me. It's me all the way through from start to end, so if you don't like me, you best go somewhere else. There's a bit more information there on helping you to choose a photographer, so I will stop at that point. Oh, one last thing, there's some related posts at the bottom of the blog with links, which are, if this was of interest to you, get down to the bottom of the blog post, check on these other links. These are related things which should be of interest to you. So thank you for watching. It's nice to be back on my YouTube channel. I am looking to get back to weekly content creation on my website, on my YouTube channel. I also need to learn how to edit videos to get rid of all these awful stumbles and what have you, but that's all for now. See you next week for chapter and verse on moving from Squarespace to WordPress. If you're into websites and are thinking of this, you'll find this of interest, trust me. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Time for the off button.